Name is Frederick Douglass Haynes, and that name has been used earlier. I want to commend you because there are two governing principles that have informed how you have presided today. Number one, you said that we are going to follow the rules. Number two, you also mentioned that every American deserves to be heard. It is my prayer that that would govern how we respond to the wannabe kings the wannabe king from Washington, D.C., dictating that we redistrict at this inopportune time already districts that have been well gerrymandered. And so I'm asking, number one, that we follow the rules of justice. Justice, according to Michael Eric Dyson, is what love sounds like when it speaks in public. Justice means that all of us, your number two principle, deserve to have our voices heard. With this particular dictate coming down from Washington, D.C., our voices will not be heard. I'm asking, Mr. Chair, that indeed this committee reject what's coming from Washington, D.C., and ensure that our voices are heard, and not only that our voices are heard, but that we follow the rules of justice. I basically say with what has been said before, most, if not all, on this committee have some kind of religious affiliation. According to my understanding of Christianity and most religions, there is a belief in justice. If there is a belief in justice, it especially is concerned with ensuring that the voiceless have a voice. Please do not rob the voiceless of a voice with a racist redistricting that follows the dictates of someone who wants to be the king and not the president of the United States of America. In a few months, many of us are going to celebrate what happened 70 years ago when Rosa Parks decided that she would stand for justice by not giving up her seat. I've always wondered about all the other folk on the bus that December 1st day. What did they do? Rosa Parks, we agree, was on the right side of history because she took a stand for what was right and just. The others were on the wrong side of history because they did not take a stand at all, or they went along with what was wrong. I'm asking you this day, please stand with Rosa Parks in that spirit, meaning that history will record that you were on the right side of history because you stood for justice. You were on the right side of history because you followed the rules of justice. You were on the right side of history because you made sure that everybody in Texas has a voice, and not just voices of those who look like the occupant of the White House. I am begging you, please stand on the right side of history as opposed to the wrong side of history, which will hurt all of us and is against everything that is moral and everything that is just. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Members, any questions?
Good morning, and welcome to another edition of Let It Be Known. Big show today, Nia.
Yeah, good morning, peace and love, everybody. Lots to talk about, but I think that's the most important thing, Stacey. What is happening in Texas? All eyes on Texas. Jasmine Crockett, she could lose. She could no longer live in the district that she represents. And she says if that happens, Stacey, that she has to rethink some things, which is very scary at the way that they're doing these things over in Texas.
What do you think she means by that? She might have to rethink some things.
She says, she explains that she does not have to live in the district to run in the district, but the makeup of the population, what her constituents tell her, and other factors will play a role and her next steps if this map is approved. I mean,
Mhm.
that's all, what she's thinking about. And if the maps are drawn and it's like it goes into a white suburban area, we know what that means. And I think the next story that we get into, which I don't want to jump the
Before you get
gun.
there, though, I want to
No, I
stay
don't
on
want
this
to
for
go
one
there.
second.
No,
Yeah.
I was saying before we jump the gun, I think a lot of Black women in this country are rethinking how they're going to play a role in politics and government right now.
Well, and so what? Here's the thing: the Congressional Black Caucus, many of them, what is it, about 60 of them? I would say about 35 of them serve in white districts. Um, and that's part of their issues that they have, and the issues we have with them for when we call them out and when we get on them for not really representing the interests of Black people. And Jasmine doesn't want that to be the case with her, obviously. But unfortunately, that is the case. And unfortunately, too many of those members, I'm not saying all 30, 35 who live and represent white districts go along with stuff. But many of those 30, 35 do just go along to get along, and they serve us no purpose whatsoever.
Mm.
Y'all can say what y'all want about the CBC, but that is it. That's why we can't get, that's why many of them shy away from Black-owned media. That's why many of them go into a corner and hide somewhere when we're calling them out. That's why many of them take the APAC money too. So until the CBC grows a spine as a whole, and not just Jasmine Crockett trying to, carry the weight herself, then the CBC is just useless.
Well, I disagree with that. I think that it's very useful.
Can
And
be,
looking
but I've
forward,
laid out
look,
facts though.
I mean, you laid out some facts. There are things that the progressions that the Congressional Black Caucus has made. I'm looking forward to hearing what they have to say at this year's Congressional Black Caucus. But back to All Eyes on Texas. There's still a chance to speak out against this gerrymandering. There's a 10-hour public hearing set for this Friday in Austin, Texas, for Texans to share their views and make their voices heard. Although we know this is going to make it to the governor's desk, I think at this point things are important to be on the record. That's why I think it was so important what Dr. Freddie Haynes was pointing out. And we've seen, that if you continue to persist, it might be small changes, but those small changes turn to big changes. The Congressional Black Caucus does have some reckoning to do. They have a lot of work to do, but at the same time, thank God that they're there. Thank God that there are other younger Black people who are running for office that can begin to address some of the things that you're talking about. But we have to make sure that we do the most and the best that we can to make sure that Jasmine Crockett is able to stay in that position, because we need her in Congress.
When you keep repeating the same thing over and over again and getting the same results, it's called insanity. I spoke to a very, very prominent member of the Congressional Black Caucus who told me point blank, most of us are not like us, are not for us. And last year, Dr. Chavis and I went to a round table. I believe it was I don't know if they called it a round table. They had food and everything. It was a nighttime event. And two, again, very prominent members of the CBC both reiterated the same thing to Dr. Chavis and I. The CBC, we can put our hope in them or trust in them if we want, but they have continually been on the, as they say, this modern day CBC. There's no more of the unfortunately, our girl from Texas who passed away last year. There's no more of her, Sheila Jackson Lee's. Our girl in California, Auntie Maxine. She's older now. She is on the other side of her career. We don't have those people. Jasmine Crockett is trying to fill that void, but she's been out there almost alone in this.
Ayanna Pressley has been on the forefront as well.
Right. That's what you can only, and we can only rattle off.
Lauren Underwood has
Lauren
been
Underwood is a disappointment.
no, she's not. No, she's
She's a
not.
disappointment.
No, she's not. What she has
Disappointment.
done for no, I mean, for you, but as a black woman and what she's doing for black women and health
Mhm.
is important. So just she might not do everything that checks your box, but as a black woman, she checks mine.
I don't have a
Yeah,
box
so
to
you
check.
can
I don't have a box to check. I'm just saying from a
everybody is not going to be able to give you 100%. And I'm
I'm
not saying that there's not a lot of work that the Congressional Black Caucus has done needs to do, but at the
Mhm.
same time there's a lot of things that they have done for us and continue to do for us that's important. So to be so dismissive of them,
oh, I'm going to be
uh,
very dismissive of them as a whole.
mm,
As a whole. As a whole. You can
Benny
probably
from
name 5 of
Mississippi,
them.
I think
Right.
thank you
They
on
got
Benny.
right.
No, but
You can
it's not
probably name
about
5 or 6 of them.
no, it's not about naming 5 or 6 of them. It's about the policy issues that and the work that they do on a day-to-day basis that are not put in the media, Stacey. So yeah, they do a lot of things that may
I
be offensive,
I
but the
disagree.
day-to-day work that they do for the American people is very important. So
I
to
don't
be
see it. I have
dismissive of
not
them
seen it.
is
I've covered it,
crazy.
but I've covered it. I've covered this stuff for decades. Lauren Burke has covered this stuff for decades, and she's saying the same thing I'm saying.
Well, Lauren,
Show me the
learn more
money.
about Lauren Underwood, the Momnibus Act, how she advocates for women in healthcare, making sure that we have the same access and the rights that white folks have. So yeah, that's important to me. That's important for Black mothers that are pregnant. When we talk about your daughter is a doula, a lot of the work that Lauren Underwood does on Capitol Hill supports the work that your daughter does, Stacey.
Listen, I said there's about 5 or 6 of them you can count. You can
5
point
or
to.
6. Let's talk about the 2 Black women that represent us in the Senate. Thank God that they are there because we was pissed off because Black women didn't have representation. So they're important to be there. So to be dismissive on a
Listen,
day-to-day basis, they
that's
do the
that's
work.
you. That's you. But I'm saying my reporting over the years have led me to my conclusions. It's not about what I feel or think. I could care less. My reporting has shown and has demonstrated constantly that CBC has been a major letdown, even when they had the power. They have been a major letdown. And that's we can't just because somebody's Black, we can't say we're standing with them. Just because they have an institution that years ago was important doesn't make it important today, especially with the way they are using it.
Thank you. Call them out. Call them out. Call out the Congressional Black Caucus because a lot of it too, Stacey, is the work that they do in their district for their constituents that you
And their
probably know
constituents are
nothing
mostly
about.
white. That's my point. There you go.
Not
You
all
just-
of
that's
them.
my
Not
point.
all of. Are you telling me that all of the Congressional Black Caucus members,
Like I said, about 30 to 35
because
of them.
they represent the people. And even if
Now
their
it's the people.
districts, even if they represent their districts are predominantly hold on one second. Even if their districts are predominantly white, there's still Black people there. And then it's a federal thing. So then they represent Black people when they get to Congress on a federal level. All I'm saying is, Stacey, I'm not saying that they have a lot of work to do and that they are disappointing at some times. But the foundation of the Congressional Black Caucus and the work that they do on a daily basis, not the headlines that we report, but the actual day-to-day work that they do is important and detrimental to the survival of Black people in this country.
Say something. I'd rather live in Bernie Sanders' district than just about any of those Black Caucus members. Any of them.
And I'd rather live in their district than to live in Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, and we see where it has gotten us. It has gotten us nowhere.
But back to like I said,
okay,
so back to like I said, there's a hearing on Friday. Thanks, Greer, for putting it up. It's a 10-hour public hearing for you to be able to go and speak if you live in the state of Texas. And you can share your views about why what these Republican Party is doing is crazy and detrimental to your community.
So Kamala Harris will not run for governor of California. She said Wednesday she's foregoing a shot at her home state's highest post to keep open the possibility of another White House bid in 2028. She had her reasons for even considering, and she had her reasons for not moving forward. I was listening to Simone Sanders and her crew talk about it. I just think that she made the right decision. I'll put it that way.
Well, finally, something we agree upon.
Listen, you better take a snapshot of that one.
For sure. We're just teasing y'all. But yeah, I think that even looking at the political climate that we're in, I mean, who has time? There are better things, there have been times where people are like, "Are you interested in running?" I'm like, hell to the no. To me, there is more work that you could do as a private citizen, as somebody working for a nonprofit, than you can in politics. And I think that is the frustration that you feel like when we look at the Congressional Black Caucus and we look at these elected officials, there's only so much that you can do. And to be a public citizen and to be able to move in and out, talking to lobbyists, being able to talk to lobbyists and having them and working with them to go to the elected officials to move policy, to move bills. To me, that is a much more powerful space to be in. But on the flip side, many people say this gives her an opportunity to tour the country as she looks to 2028. So, you never know.
Um, who is, in your view, since you're out there in the trenches in LA and in California in general, who is best suited to succeed Gavin Newsom?
Well, former Los Angeles Mayor Antonio Villaraigosa is running. This is his second time running. He
Mhm.
was defeated the first time with Villaraigosa. Antonio, California Attorney General Xavier Ibarra. He was also Biden's Secretary of Human Health Services. He's also running. And then you have, people that you're like, we'll see what happens. So if it's me as an Angelino, and knowing the work that Antonio Villaraigosa has
Mhm.
done, knowing that
See?
we have
Something
a
else we can agree on.
high population of Latinos in our community,
Yep.
and being a part of covering a lot of what Antonio Villaraigosa has done for LA, for the LA Sentinel, that would be my top pick.
Mhm. Your choice.
Yeah, he would be my choice. And so we'll see. And maybe there was conversation that was had because so many Latinos are in our state. Maybe there were backdoor conversations that said, hey, maybe we need to do something different.
Again, I'm not in California, but I do know Antonio, and I do think that
I do too. He's a great guy.
yeah, I think he's a good guy. I think for politicians, as politicians go, his intentions are really good. I don't trust not one politician's intentions being good, so I don't. Plus, that's why I don't deal with politics. I cover it, but
I'm
I'd
pretty
like him.
much sure. I'm pretty much sure most of the LA City Council, including our mayor Karen Bass, will definitely be behind him because we were last time he ran for governor. Even though we knew it was a hard hill to climb. Mr. Bakewell, publisher of the LA Sentinel, I believe our weekly. Everybody got behind City Council member Curran Price. Marquise Harris Dawson, who is the president of LA City Council. All of these people were supportive of him the first time around. And every time we have something in LA, even Taste the Soul, Villaraigosa is there. And
Yeah,
he actually started the first Taste the Soul. He gave the LA Sentinel their first permits and was the first mayor to partner with Taste the Soul.
Yeah, like I said, as politicians go, I don't know him that great personally, but I do know him and know of him and have been around him a lot. And he seems like a really good guy and somebody with more importantly, somebody with really good intentions.
Yeah. Yes, and Mike V. Assemblyman Stephen Bradford, I believe that he is no longer running for lieutenant governor. He's running for insurance commissioner right now.
Oh,
Um,
when did
last
that
I heard,
change?
last I heard, maybe about a month or so ago.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that either, Mike. Okay. Because that is another name that made it a little interesting for
But no, he was running for lieutenant
lieutenant. Right.
governor. Yeah,
That's what I was
lieutenant
going to
governor.
say. It made it a little interesting for lieutenant governor because that's a race. That's one race. No matter what state you're in, it doesn't really get a lot of attention. I know the Virginia race a couple of years ago for lieutenant governor got attention, of course. But that's one flies under the radar in Pennsylvania. But not every state elects a lieutenant governor. It's like president and vice president almost in several states.
Oh,
So
another person that's running for governor is Tony Thurman. I forgot about him. He was the state school board superintendent for the state of California, but he did a lot of work around prison reform, and really was part of the state of California's push to get rid of privatized prisons. So, I mean, he does. I don't think he has all the financial resources that's needed to run for governor in the state of California, but he is an African American male. I like the work that he did around prison reform and taking money from privatized prisons. And so we'll see what he does as well.
and switching gears, folks, a new prison policy initiative report has revealed how President Trump's I should say, is quietly using local jails, even in sanctuary cities, to detain immigrants through backdoor contracts with the U.S. Marshals. These loopholes allow ICE to sidestep local protections, turning civil immigration cases into criminal ones. The public sees sanctuary, but behind closed doors, jails are propping up mass deportation. So can we really call them sanctuary cities if jails are being used as backdoors for Trump's deportation machine?
So this has to mean that they're working with the sheriff's departments, because of course the sheriff's department house our local jails. But I just think that this is what we talk about when we talk about police sanctioned violence. I mean, it's all a gamut, and when we think about the origins of policing in this country, it seems like we're going backwards instead of forward.
Yeah, and that's why I was and you know, you kind of understand a little bit, but again, you got to have backbone, and that's why what happened in Washington D.C. I talked about this before with Mayor Bowser capitulating, like just immediately capitulating, was crazy to me. I understand that Congress, the Trump Congress, holds her purse strings for the most part, but listen, find out if somebody else has the backbone and step aside. At this point, this is not a time, in my view, for these politicians to say, well, you know what, I want this job, I'm going to keep this job even if it means capitulating. You have to step up or step aside. And I just think this giving in, we've seen how not giving in is working to an extent, and just right there in your backyard in California, there in Los Angeles, with the governor and the mayor saying, "Hey, not in my backyard."
Right. And I really think that this whole situation of Trump and, coming in and doing all this hocus pocus and spinning around and bringing this circus to LA, trying to use LA as a model of what could be done across the country, and it backfired. When we've been talking about California, I really think this has helped Karen Bass turn the tides from what happened with the fires, because she's looking like a stronger leader. She's pushing back. We know that the Trump Klan administration has pulled back the Marines, taking them out of our city, as well as the National Guard. And so, as though they were going to use LA as a model, I think that other cities across the country, mayors and governors, can use California as a model as to how to resist this Trump Klan administration.
Yeah, I think that is a model. Certainly, it's the best model we've seen so far. And when I say it appears to be working, working means that the fight continues. That's what it really means. How it's going to end, who knows? But at least Gavin Newsom and at least Karen Bass, they have put the gloves on and they are in that ring and they are swinging.
Yeah, it's a lot of money on the table. We know that the World Cup is thinking about going to Canada. It's supposed to happen in LA. That's bringing a lot of money to our city. We need it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is it's not just about what you see. It's a lot more that's dependent. We got the Olympics coming, and that the way Donald Trump is doing our country, nobody's gonna come because they're not gonna get their visas.
They're not gonna get their visas, and at some point,
And they might get detained.
right, that too. But at some point, these leaders of other nations may say, you know what, we don't want to deal with the United States at all. We don't want our people going to the United States. At some point, because you saw what happened in Scotland when he landed in Scotland. It wasn't, oh, hey, the president of the United States is here.
There
Let's
they
give him
go.
a
There
stand.
they go. There they
There you
go.
go. Listen, Scotland really let him have it. They
Yeah.
let him know how they felt about what he's doing to a nation that doesn't, to people in a nation that doesn't necessarily affect them.
And don't forget, yesterday we reported that the United Nations is packing up and moving to Kenya.
There's another thing. Nobody's going to want to come here. And I think, Nia, I think that's intentional on his part. I think that, part of the diabolical scheme is to break this country and to make it so that, it's more than just the immigration,
So
but
you're
to
saying
make
he doesn't want a United States?
no,
He
of
wants a
course not.
divided states. So he wants to be
Absolutely.
called the divided states of America. Okay.
Well, yeah, you could look at it that way. But what's the bottom line? The bottom line is the big D word, right? Dictator. And because other dictatorships, think about dictatorships. Nobody wanted to go to those countries. Who would want to go to a country with a dictator? Nobody.
But
It was no tourism or anything like that in dictator
what is the
countries.
root of all of it? And since we're in California, let's continue to talk about what our elected say and what Auntie Maxine says. Yeah, he wants to be a dictator, but it's more about greed. Follow the money. How
Yeah.
money has he made since he's been president the past 6 years? Think
Gosh.
about the Kushners,
Forget about it.
all the money that the Kushners are making. What we need to be concerned about is where is Ivanka? Where's Jared? Where's Donald Trump Jr.? Where's Eric? They still going to the White House at least once a week, making deals. Remember, you used to have to report when you went to the White House. It was all documented. People going in and out now. We don't know who the head of the Klansmen probably didn't been to the White House. We don't know.
He's probably got a whole spread there. Are you kidding me? But yeah, I think that, yeah, you're right. Follow the money, but also it's, to me, it's more than just about making the money is the big part, yes, but it's
Mhm.
about also breaking everyone else. I don't think this man is satisfied having all the money. I think he wants to have all the money and have his friends have all the money, but everybody else, he wants them destitute.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I totally agree. He wants us all destitute. He only wants the 1%. He wants that to be real. Like the term the have and the have nots.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And that's what makes it's so disgusting. It's so, this guy, and that's why I said all the time, he has all the power. He has access to Fort Knox. He has all the money. But he's still not happy.
For sure. For sure. Scary times.
Folks, we are anxiously awaiting the arrival of our special guest this morning.
But we do
It's
have more news for
We
you.
do
What
have
we
more
got?
news. First of all, let me just say what Greer said. He's just a racist too. The elites are the ones with the plan. And she says Americans who can are leaving. They're going to Panama, Costa Rica, and Mexico. Yeah, it's a shame when you have Americans. I've seen along those lines celebrities, white celebrities, like, we're getting out of here. So it's bad when you got rich white celebrities saying we're out of here. So give me a break. Folks, here's switching gears. Let's switch gears here. A Black mother and her teenage son, who are behind the Melon Brand Skin, created to serve melanated children with natural skincare, are pushing back after Milani Cosmetics sent a threatening legal letter. Milani claims that the name Melon brand is confusingly similar, despite having no ties to melanin or the Black community it profits off of. Patrice Chappelle says the accusations feel like an attack on everything she's built for her son's future. Her legal team points out that the trademark office found absolutely no conflict. So if companies can profit from Black culture, why do they keep trying to silence the people who create it? And this is terrible. They created this brand, and you got this company saying, no, it's too similar. The name is too similar. And, you know, it's interesting that they never raised this issue until this company became successful.
Yeah, I know. I saw the Combs twins, a similar situation to this. The Combs twins launched maybe about a month ago their clothing line. And there was a young Black girl who came out immediately and said, they're copying my style. And so a lot of people, I'm just saying, a lot of people, when things are similar, just like Beyonce's Blue Ivy. You know, Beyonce tried to trademark, the Carters tried to trademark Blue Ivy's name, and there was a company that was like, no, that's my company's name. So I think a lot of times people feel like they haven't tied, that's their brand. It's infringing on them making money. And so you have these types of disputes.
Yeah, this is a shame. This woman has worked hard. This Black woman has worked extremely hard building this brand up, and I just don't get the name being there's no mistake. At least I don't know. It's just me, but I guess that doesn't necessarily add up to much. But Milani claims that Milan brand is confusingly similar. I don't know. I mean, the way it's spelled out on the product, Milani is Milani, and it's one word. Milan brand is also one word, but it's capital MELAN brand.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know that you can, if you go into the store looking for Milani or going online looking for Milani, you're not going to mistake. I don't think you can mistake it with Milan brand, but that's me.
Yeah. I've seen this happen a lot, especially with celebrities and just regular everyday people with small businesses, and they feel like that people are copying their brand. I mean, it definitely does happen.
We'll hopefully this hardworking Black woman and her son will prevail against this company. Dr. Marilyn says this is the story of our lives. If they can't profit from us, they don't want us. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
For sure. We have some news on Shannon Sharpe. What you got?
Yeah, gosh. So Shannon Sharpe was fired by ESPN. He's officially out. The Hall of Famer, who had been a regular face on First Take, has parted ways with the network after quietly settling his assault lawsuit. The settlement was announced early this month by Tony Busby, of all people, and Sharpe hasn't appeared on ESPN since April. Now, the thing about it is Shannon said that he had asked ESPN not to make this announcement until Monday because his brother is being inducted into the Hall of Fame, and he didn't want anything to overshadow that. And ESPN could not give him the grace of that. I mean, that's some diabolical stuff. He just simply asked, listen, I'm not going to fight you on my termination. Please just don't announce it to overshadow my brother's big weekend. And what ESPN does, they announce it, that he's been fired.
Well, that's really not how firing works, Shannon Sharpe. It's really not how it works. When you get fired, it ain't on your terms.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, bro. I don't think that it's going to overshadow anything. Okay. We talked about it. We talked about it yesterday. It was one of the top 5 stories on social media. We're talking about it this morning. but by the weekend, his bro will be fine. I'm sorry, Shannon. That's just not how it works.
Yeah, well, I think ESPN, when they sat down with him, they could have granted him that. But there's a great argument to be made, as you said. Firing is firing, and
It's
they didn't owe
hey.
him that.
Yeah, what
Uh,
is that? Because he's a millionaire, he should get some type of privileges. Regular people getting fired every day. And they don't get it on their terms. Bro,
listen,
please.
he I still say they could have granted him that, but they didn't owe
No,
him that. No,
because
no, they didn't owe him that. They didn't
Susie
owe him
Walker
that.
is getting fired today, and she might say, "Please, because my mama birthday on Friday, and I don't want to ruin everything." Mm-mm.
No. It's just that his brother, ESPN covers his brother. His brother's an athlete, or now a retired athlete, and ESPN is going to cover the Hall of Fame. I mean, it was a legitimate request. It was, again, they didn't owe him that. They certainly didn't owe him that. But I think they could have granted him that. Now they didn't. And Shannon Sharp, the bottom line is, he definitely made this bed himself. There's no question about
Yeah.
it.
I'm with the common people. It's people getting fired every day. They don't have that privilege, and he shouldn't either. A fire is a fire.
Well, and the other side of the coin too, Neil, if again, playing devil's advocate here, as Dr. Nicole says, they do have control and discretion over when they make it public. They do those things all the time for others, whether or not it is owed. They have done that a lot. And we're talking about when a person is fired, when the everyday Joe is fired, there's no public announcement, right? ESPN did not have to go public. Again, I'm not arguing that he emphasis is on bed, Daniela Pierre. I'm not arguing that he deserved it. I'm not arguing that at all. I'm saying they give that discretion to others.
Yeah, for sure.
That's
I'm just
all
sorry.
I'm saying.
I mean,
No, I
Shannon
know.
Sharp
I
is
have no sympathy
known
for him
for
either.
what he does, and hey, it's people who have asked Shannon Sharp, please don't air that video, or can you take that out, or can you do this? And he wants the clicks, he wants the bait, he wants the smoke. Well, guess what? Yesterday he got the smoke.
Lauren G says, I bet he wishes OJ was alive. He says the juice would have cut to the bottom of this mess. What's wrong with RNG? RNG, it's Thursday. Football season is back. You already promoted that earlier. He says that black men are down 1,000 points. Shannon Sharp and Gilbert Arenas do better with your millions of dollars that you earned. Gilbert Arenas is another one. Well, there's another one there that stays in trouble. Now he's in big trouble. And then, you talk about, other day you said, when you talk about death, unfortunately, we talk about death, you said it comes in threes. Gilbert Arenas is in jail. Shannon Sharp is his situation. And Marcus Morris, former Laker, former Knick, former whatever, Rocket, et cetera, arrested for writing a bad $236,000 check to a casino in Las Vegas and other fraud charges.
Well, let's jump into, because Greer has this Gilbert Arenas story up. So former NBA star Gilbert Arenas is in serious legal trouble after federal prosecutors hit him with multiple charges tied to an illegal gambling operation allegedly run out of his Encino mansion. So basically, he was having card games. There were a few other people that were arrested. They had women there that they were paying to pass out drinks, and they were playing high stakes poker. And so he's been charged. He's facing one count of conspiracy to operate an illegal gambling business, one count of operating an illegal gambling business. I mean, conspiracy and then operating. So that's 2 counts. And each charge carries a maximum sentence of 5 years in federal prison.
This guy has, he ruined his career when he was in the league. The whole gun incident in the locker room, people always remember that. He has been one of the things that a lot of people hate him for is that he appears to be a Kobe Bryant hater. his how he's talked about Kobe, even in recent times, and now this.
Well, I
He had a
mean,
good.
this right here, I mean, but I mean, to me, this feels like I mean, they're reaching. I mean, so if I'm interested to see how this case plays out. I mean, because what's wrong with having men have private poker games all the time at cigar lounges and everywhere else.
Mhm.
Now, of course, the stakes are higher because you're dealing with millionaires. But does this warrant charges, federal charges?
Well, think about what you just said, because you're dealing with millionaires. Does that change the rules and the laws? I mean, if you and I were
That's
to
my
have a
question.
poker
Yeah.
game, if
It-
you and I were to have a poker game, and money is being changed hands, and big money start to, the money gets bigger and bigger, and we know we breaking the law, um, we gonna get in trouble too if the right people find out about it.
So if I had a high stakes bid whisk or spades game and we gambling over spade, I mean, am I going to be arrested and charged with federal charges?
Well, it
I
depends
mean,
on
this
what.
is a slippery slope to me. I mean, I need more evidence than high stakes poker.
Well, it says a poker ring. It doesn't sound like it was just a poker game, right? So, I mean, listen, I don't know all the facts here. I'm not saying Gilbert is innocent or guilty. I will never say he's innocent of anything, that's for sure. But
Right.
but I'm not, I don't know all the details here. What evidence they have to show that he ran this ring? Because we're talking about, now you're talking about a ring, and what does that say? And the feds ring. Now you talk about what's that guy that nobody likes to hear, Rico.
Yeah, so it says so according to court documents, he teamed up with five other individuals to host high stakes poker nights at his home from September 2021 to July of 2022.
Hmm. So wait, what was those dates again?
September 2021 to July 2022. I mean,
And,
I
and they
just
just
don't
now getting
know.
to it.
I mean, the feds say he hired a 51-year-old assistant to help set up the lavish environment and collect rent from hosts. I
Oh.
mean, this sounds like a Diddy do it.
Uh,
Sounds like a
oh.
Diddy do it.
But my question is, so in 2022, and now here we are, 3 years later, he's being charged.
Well, that happens a lot. You know, they were investigating Diddy for a while, but Orange G said, "Don't invite me to that party. I'll play bingo." Well, bingo might be next, Orange G.
You never know. And this,
Bingo might be next.
wow.
So yeah, that interesting.
I saw. Did you
mean,
see Nick Young's reaction to all of this?
no, what was Nick Young's
Oh
reaction?
gosh. He says, "My brother is an idiot, y'all. We're gonna change the show," because they do the show from Gil's arena to Swaggy's arena. Now Nick Young was saying he was gonna send him some Adidas and stuff while he locked up and all that stuff. And he said how he was calling Gilbert stupid for what he's done, or for what at least Nick believes he's done. Now this is his partner. Boy, with friends like that.
Wow.
But isn't Nick Young the one who, I could be wrong, but I know he's a former Laker, and I think he's the one who outed one of his teammates for having an extramarital affair?
I'm not sure. I know he was on College Hill.
Okay.
But I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
One of them Lakers, I think it was Nick Young. I could be wrong, but one of them Lakers got in trouble with his teammates for outing a teammate for having an extramarital affair.
I'm with Orange G. He says someone probably lost a lot of money and went to the feds. Now that sounds, yeah, that makes some sense. I could believe that. Yeah.
So
But we have a couple more headlines to get through. I want to talk about the term YN. Have you heard of that term, Stacey?
Yes, indeed.
Okay, so the mayor of Durham, North Carolina, Leo Williams, is catching heat for referring to the city's young people as YNs. Now, that's a slang term that stands for Young Nigga. Now, he made this during a town hall at a sports bar. And he was saying, and I quote, "We're dealing with some YNs out here just doing their own thing, stealing guns out of cars, and they don't know how to communicate." Now, this, caught fire. A lot of citizens, especially the elders, were upset by these comments. So he later apologized, saying, "For the folks that I know and respect who are hurt by how it has materialized into something else, I apologize." So he apologized to the elders, but he's saying that it was taken out of context. And really, he really doesn't have a problem with the term, and he just thinks it's a relevant term to be able to connect to young
Mm.
people. What do you think about that, Stacy and the chat?
He's got to find a better way to communicate. Then he's got to find a better way to communicate. You got to know at when you are in a certain situation, a certain position, you can't just do anything, and some of the old stuff has to go out. It has you have to chill with that. And I don't, I just, I can't get down with it. I don't. Mm.
Yeah, I mean, for elected official, I mean, I get that he's trying to connect to a younger audience, but I don't know if I want my mayor using the term YNs. I
Yeah,
don't
that's
know
what I'm
about that.
saying.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's it's like you got right, Dr. Mountain. I guess in a nutshell, that's what I'm saying. Know your audience.
Well, he thought
No.
that he knew his audience. This town hall was, out of the traditional sense because it was at a sports bar. So he was at a
Yeah.
sports bar, drinks flowing, chicken wing, people munching on chicken wings, celery and cucumbers and carrots and having a good time. And he's, connecting with the people in the neighborhood.
Yeah. Mm.
No,
Gosh.
no, no.
Listen. It, ah. You can't do that. You just can't do that.
Well, he did it, and he apologized to the elders, but he definitely says that it was taken. He didn't say out of context, but the way that this has materialized, it wasn't meant for that. He was just trying to connect to his audience. But
That's
YN is a very popular term right now, especially within the hip
right.
hop community.
Right, right. And that's why I don't know where our guest is this morning, but that would have been great to talk with him about it. Um, but yeah, it is very popular, especially in the hip hop community, but it doesn't mean we have to like it.
Mike V says, "My question is, does he refer to MAGA as
Oh,
YTs?" Good
oh,
one, good one.
mm, something to think
Well,
about.
some to
Things to
think
make you go,
YTs. Yeah, because like, and I think a lot of this comes because social media has rules, regulations, and terms about certain words that you can't say. And
mhm.
so I think one of them is YTs. You can't say murder, you have to say unalived. And so, YN came along with all of these new terminologies to motivate and navigate through social media. Um,
Yeah.
but
Well, Nancy Wall says, would you want your teacher to address the students like that? Yeah. I think somebody did that though. I think a teacher got in trouble for that same thing, as a matter of fact, Nancy. So, you
Dr.
know,
Marilyn said he could have changed the acronym to something clever. That's how he could have connected. Hmm.
well, there you go.
Well, I
But
mean, I think that's what he thought YN was. Something clever. Like, I'm be hip and
I gotta shake my head on that. I mean, he
mm.
should know better. Come on, right? Shouldn't he know better?
Well, I mean, the younger generation thinks that is better. So
Oh,
that's where we have to have these intergenerational conversations. And clearly one of the elders pulled him to the side because he did feel the need to apologize. And so for that, we are grateful. And hopefully he won't use that term again. To Dr. Marilyn, as she said, find something more clever to say.
Ask you a question. It's sort of on the same lines, sort of. It might be a stretch, but and I think Dr. Joni brought this up. The Sydney Sweeney ad, the Good Genes ad, um, where she says genes are passed down from parents to offsprings, often determining traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color. And then she goes on to say, "My genes are blue," and a lot of pushback on that. A lot, many people online that says, this blonde-haired, blue-eyed actor was repping a prominent American brand in such a fashion at a time when the Trump administration has attacked diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts and moved, to aggressively deport immigrants. Um, is that bad taste? I think it's very much in poor taste. And then of course they prep up this Sydney Sweeney, who white folks lose their mind over for some reason or another. I just don't get the Sydney Sweeney love here, but nonetheless, the Good Genes thing has really caught some controversy.
Yeah. I mean, my jeans are blue. I don't really. I mean, when she said her jeans are blue, I literally thought of blue jeans. Literally. I mean, that's the first thing that came. I didn't think of, Police, American Eagle is a jean company.
Mhm,
I think it's clever play on words,
mhm,
my jeans are blue. I mean, I think of blue jeans.
mhm. Well, she's gotten a lot of controversy, and as I said, Dr. Joni brought it up, and I thought, yeah, that's an interesting um, take. It's a very interesting take to have her again. Somebody who they just. I'm trying to give an idea of who they're making her out to be. Like, you remember Farrah Fawcett back in the '70s?
Yeah, I'm not
How
even
she was this.
familiar with her. I'm not familiar with her at all.
Yeah, I think she's an actress who they just think that she is just. They think she's like the the Liz Taylor of today or something. I don't know. I don't know how to couch it, how to compare it. But this whole blue eyes, blue jeans thing, didn't rub everybody the right way. Put it that way.
Orange
Yeah.
jean.
And
Who
so
is
the ad,
Sydney
but as
Sweeney?
Dr. Joni said, the ad itself, that was another thing. And that's a big thing. It crossed off the word jeans, like the jeans you wear, Jeans, with jeans, Genes. So, and as
Oh,
they're saying that,
wow.
yeah, the ad is deeper than the jeans. So
Mm,
that's the issue here.
mm.
She's a very
Oh, so they're
popular
so the mayor was talking to his audience and they talking to
to
theirs.
theirs. There you go.
Okay. Everybody
There
talking.
you go. Yes,
Everybody
ma'am, I
talking.
am. Brooke Shields and Calvin Klein. That's a good one. Yes, ma'am, I am. Says Brooke Shields. Yep. And Dr. Nicole says everyone didn't think of blue jeans. Thus the controversy, especially in the context of how
And
she
see, I
said it.
did, but see, I was only listening to you reading it.
Hmm.
I didn't
Hmm.
see the visual. Maybe if I see the visual, I'll have a different take. But just as hearing you read it, and you were talking about denim, and I'm like, okay, jeans. But I didn't get
Hmm.
the whole cross out. I didn't see any of that.
That's huh. This
Well,
this
American Eagle, y'all might need to go back to the drawing board because y'all getting the people pissed.
they're gonna be the next target.
Okay, point intended.
Yes, indeed, indeed. Reverend Jamal Bryant will have something to say about this, I'm sure.
All right. And let's jump into our last headline. Sad news for the boxing community. Legendary boxing trainer to Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield, Tommy Brooks, passed away after a fight with cancer this week. He was 71. Very loved, very respected in the boxing community. And so our prayers go out to his family.
Yeah, that, again, somebody else at 71 years old, that's just too soon still. And he affected Tyson and I mean, just, yeah, a number, not just Tyson, but a number of boxers he was a great influence on. And in Tyson's case, Tyson really needed that influence. He'll tell you himself he needed that influence, especially after Customato died years ago, and who he really looked up to. He lost his way after that, and Tommy Brooks he's one of those guys who, hey, I got you, and that's what
Hmm.
everybody needs that in their life, that I got you person.
Right, right. Yeah, definitely. So prayers go out to his family and to the boxing community that he so loved and supported and helped amplify.
Yeah, and folks, for those who tuned in, expecting our special guests, we apologize. Apparently, there's been a time mix-up or something of that nature, but we'll get to the bottom of it and get it straightened out for you in the coming episodes of Let It Be Known. And yes, Don King is still living, Dr. Marilyn. Don King actually is the owner of two of our newspapers in Ohio, the Call and Post in
Mhm.
Cleveland and in is it Toledo or Columbus? Columbus, Toledo and Columbus, Ohio. He owns those newspapers there in the Black Press family. So he's still alive. He's still among the living. He's still a Trump supporter, though. Only in America. Um, some black facts for you. On this date in 1966, Stokely Carmichael called out liberal hypocrisy and defined black power. Stokely, newly named chairman of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, addressed a packed, mostly black audience at Detroit's Cabo Auditorium with a bold message about black power. He rejected shallow alliances with white liberals, saying many could afford to march because black women were at home caring for their families. He says you can't form a coalition with people who are economically secure. He also blasted Robert Kennedy for criticizing black power while relying on black votes to advance politically. He said black power made his brother president.
Mhm.
So that was Stokely Carmichael on this date back in 1966, calling out liberal hypocrisy and defining black power.
All right, and we have some for all our music lovers out there, we have a couple of black facts for you that happened on this day. The year is 1976, and can you guess what the number one R&B song was? None other than Lou Rawls, You'll Never Find Another
Oh,
Love
my,
Like
my, my.
Mine.
Mm, mm, mm. I will
Uh,
always remember Lou Rawls performing that song on, I believe the show was Solid Gold. And
mm.
he started choking.
Oh, I
I always,
remember that viral
yes,
video.
yes. Every time and I watched it live as a kid. I remember watching it live, and every time I heard that song since, and even when I hear it today, that's the only visual that comes to mind. And the background singers really rescuing him. But
Right, yeah. Well, no, Lou
mm,
Rawls was definitely a treasure. And my grandmother loved Lou Rawls, and I attended my first Lou Rawls concert in Las Vegas. I was in the 8th grade. My
mm.
grandparents took me to Las Vegas as a graduation trip, sat front row, and listened to Lou Rawls Serenade, Serenade.
That is a pretty and I'm sure if you listen to other songs, there's very bold statements in there. That's pretty bold. Like you know what? You can walk out that door, but you'll never find another
Never,
love like
never,
this.
never, never find.
You're gonna miss my loving, he said.
You're gonna miss my loving. Number
Uh,
one today in 1976. And there's another one. Any Temptation fans out there? All right. The Temptation on this day in 1984, the Temptations made a comeback with the single Treat Her Like a Lady. And it was a successful return of the group because we know they were Motown loved, but in 1984, they initiated their comeback and rose to the top with Treat Her Like a Lady.
And Otis Williams is still rolling along. And it's interesting because you watch. I think the last time I saw the Temptations was probably 2 years ago in Washington.
Oh,
Eh,
Ollie, there's Ollie
yeah,
Woodson. He used to go to our church, City of Refuge, and Bishop Jones
yeah.
would call him up to the pulpit, and he'd come and just sing, and all the we were like, ladies, we are in church. This is not a Temptation concert. He's singing a gospel song.
Yeah, Ollie was my next door neighbor in the Summit in Woodland Hills, and he and I we did we while we were neighbors we didn't connect until we were in Mexico. One year he was performing with the Temptations Review, and we met there. Damon Harris was actually a part of that group. Damon became a really good friend of mine. He was also a former lead singer of the Temptations.
Mhm.
And Ollie was he was a star in his mind all the time. He was a star.
Well, he was definitely beloved here in Los Angeles.
Oh yeah,
And yeah, he was a star here in LA. Ollie pop up and everybody roll out the red carpet for him,
yeah,
at all events. But another, they also were very popular on the Tom Joyner Fantastic Voyage. Tom Joyner
yeah.
would have them on the cruise a lot. And so, we love the Temptations and just everything that Motown gave us. They gave us lyrics. They gave us lovable lyrics. You can't find love songs like this today. The lyrics to the Treat Her Like a Lady, that the R&B singers now is telling us to bend over. We
Oh,
want to be treated like a lady. The lyrics are just not
there
the
she go again.
same.
There she go again. Boy, oh
I'm
boy.
just saying, and I'm not even a Temptations age person. That's my mama. But at the same time, the lyrics, when you think about Lou Rawls, like he put telling the woman, you could try, but you'll never find.
So
Never
we need
ever
to
find.
we need to do like a 10 p.m. show or something after you've had a few, because
Why?
that will be extremely entertaining. Oh my gosh. Yesterday's remark and then today's
No,
remark.
no, we need to do what with you? Which observer? Which observer? Inside joke, folks.
Oh my gosh. And Dr. Mellon says, but the female rappers don't help. Have you heard Sexy Red?
Or what about WAP? It's like you don't even want to say what that means. Cardi B.
Wasn't that her and Megan?
Yeah, it was her and Megan.
Good Lord. What in the world? But you're right about those entertainers. And I said it before too. The choreography and stuff like that. Man, that was
The outfits, you know what I'm
the
saying? They
outfits.
put their
Yeah.
best foot forward. You weren't gonna see no black man sagging. Okay, his pants were gonna be up. He was gonna have on a nice glitter jacket, and he was gonna sparkle and give us what we need, and then hit his knees when he hits that high note. Just
Wait a
don't
minute
make him
now.
like that no
So
more.
so you don't mind the man hitting his knees, but the girl bending over is not.
Well, I'm talking about when he hits that high note. Is there a heart in the house tonight? You know what I'm talking about when
Oh,
they
that song is
slide
oh
and
my
they
God. That song, man, how he hits that note. Oh my
But
gosh.
that's what we don't get that anymore. I mean, I
Mm.
think Chris Brown is somebody that who could do it, but he's just relevant. He's, writing to the times in his audience. But I think he would have been a great croner back in the day. Usher has it great because he was there with that 90s R&B, so he knows how to make a love song. But these new artists today, they just don't, their lyrics just don't match up. They're talking about chicken wings, hookah,
Chicken wings.
let's smoke a blunt. That's what love is to them. We could Netflix and chill. I mean,
Netflix and
okay.
chill. Good night. Reverend Green says gutter lust is heavy in music and social media. And Dr. Marilyn says
Gutter
most
lust.
gutter lust, right? That caught my
I like
attention
it.
too. I
Gutter
know
lust.
I might have to use that one. Gutter lust. Dr.
Mm.
Marilyn says Motown made women feel good about being women.
Yes. And
Wow.
love, what the like 50, 60, 40, 70, 40, even though we have found that love is sometimes it ain't always 50, 50. Sometimes somebody giving 70, sometimes somebody giving 30 to make 100. But it's the lyrics that we love and we just don't have it.
And do you think it's ever coming back?
No, because you know what else they got rid of? The grooming of artists. What was that department? Susan
Oh
DePass
gosh.
used to be
Yeah,
over it.
Suzanne DePass. Right.
Mhm.
It called the finishing school.
Yeah, you know, we don't have that anymore. You know, to train artists on how to
Mhm.
talk, how to present
Yep.
themselves, how to look. You know,
Yep.
if Suzanne DePass would have got Sexy Red and been like, let's go to the tattoo removal parlor. You got 10 too many tattoos. Okay. Who allowed
10
you to
too
do
many.
that? Who
It
allowed
was
you to do that?
You know, a great fact about Suzanne DePass, it was her, folks. If you remember the great one, probably the greatest television special ever when it comes to music was Motown 25.
Mhm.
She was the one who got Barry Gordy to agree to not only have Michael Jackson perform, but to have him perform the only non-Motown song on the bill, which was Billie Jean.
Hmm.
And that was all Suzanne DePass, the work of
Mm.
Suzanne DePass. So, and Barry was being Barry. He was, no, this is my thing. This is, it's Motown or nothing. And Suzanne DePass was like, listen, this guy is about to take off. He is the greatest thing that you could take credit for all that. Billie Jean is really, she convinced him that Billie Jean and Thriller and all that was because of Barry Gordy. And
Right.
Barry was like,
Yeah. Yeah. Shonda thinks it is A&R. That's part of their department as well as finding
mhm,
the talent and grooming them. And then etiquette training, Patricia.
mhm.
Yep. Most of the artists, 99.9% of the artists can use some etiquette training today.
Yeah, I tell you, Smokey Robinson said that they literally called it finishing school at Motown, and they all had to do it. It was a requirement, and you see why. You see the results anyway. So
Mhm.
there you go. Nancy Wall says October London is a good singer and dresses nice.
Yeah.
Is that right? I don't know October London.
Yeah, he gives you that Marvin Gaye feeling, and he leans into it as to being a croner. You know, cigar smoker, dinner coat, jacket. A lot of his music is reminiscent of Marvin Gaye. Yeah, I think
Oh
he's a good
yes,
one.
yes, yeah. I just got
Hmm.
introduced to him. My wife and daughter introduced me to him,
Yeah,
his music, I should say. He's on Snoop's label. Greer said,
yeah,
okay.
that is correct. He is on
Uh,
Snoop. Snoop has a lot of good artists coming out. He just released Jane Hancock. I believe that's her name. Super
mhm.
dope young lady. Music is like R&B, neo soul, hip hop, super dope. So Snoop is definitely delivering some good feel good music. Shout out to Fuzzy Fantabulous because he's over there.
He's still around.
He's working Snoop's label.
Really? Remember,
Mhm.
he obviously you remember he used to be on with Big Boy.
Yeah, he basically, yeah, he's the man behind the man. That's who Fuzzy Fantabulous is. Always been the man behind the
Wow.
man.
I
Um,
was wondering, I had wondered at some point I was thinking about him. I was like, whatever happened to Fuzzy?
Fuzzy ain't left and went nowhere. He's probably
Okay.
more powerful and popular than ever before. But he's definitely grooming some great artists over there at Death Row
I did
Records.
not know that about him. Wow. I just thought he was like the sidekick on the radio show.
Mm-mm, not at
Wow.
all.
And he was hilarious. He used to do, now he was the one who originated, and at least for me, back in the 90s, originated those prank calls. What do you call them? What they call them? You know what I'm
Yeah,
talking
prank
about.
calls. Yeah, the prank calls.
It was, didn't they
Phone
call it
prank.
something else? Prank phone
Phone
something? Yeah.
tap. Phone tap.
Phone tap. There you go. He was the one. Oh man, I used to be on the floor, dying
Yeah.
laughing. But
And
anyway,
I won't say, let me just say this too. There's a lot of great R&B music out there.
mhm.
If you want to start with Robert Glasper. Listen to Robert Glasper music. If you want to know who the best R&B singers are, Robert Glasper finds a way to bring them all together. And there's another artist out called Cleo Soul. Super dope, reminiscent of Sade. She's from Europe. I'm not sure what part, but she's from Europe. Black young lady, super dope. And if you like Sade, she's like the 2025 Sade. Sells out concerts quietly. When she came to the United States, she was at the Hollywood Bowl. Just fabulous, spiritual, a lot of soul, love her.
Okay. And Jane Hancock.
Yeah,
Dr.
she's
Young says
dope.
she's okay.
Hmm. It's
Okay.
super dope.
I guess I gotta open my mind some more again because I don't know who Jane Hancock is, and like I said,
She
I just
just
got
really
introduced
came
to the
out.
other one.
Yeah, she just really
Okay.
came out. They've been on a press tour. Fuzzy's been taking her around. And I think her album just dropped.
Oh, okay. And then what about Joe Thomas, as Shonda H says? Do
I'm
you know
not
Joe
very,
Thomas?
I'm not familiar with Joe Thomas. I'm
Okay,
not.
neither am I.
Mm-mm.
But Shonda H says Joe Thomas is a great R&B singer and very underrated.
Mm.
All right, so
Yeah, I'm gonna
I
check him
gotta
out.
remember this stuff. I gotta check these folks out. Okay, thanks, chat. I appreciate that. Maybe I could listen to more than just Marvin Gaye and folks like that. Y'all
Uh,
gave me some.
right. I'm sure Greer's like, wrap it up.
I know, I know. Our black-owned newspaper of the day is the New York Beacon. The New York Beacon didn't start as a newspaper, folks. It started as a hustle. In 1976, William E. Underwood launched Big Red News, which is a number sheet that spoke directly to the streets. That trust turned a side hustle into a real newspaper. Walter Ball Smith Jr. saw the vision, bought it, and by 1993 renamed it the New York Beacon. Under Walter Smith, it became the voice for Black New Yorkers across all 5 boroughs. The Beacon is still on the front lines, now led by his son, Ashley Smith. So our Black-owned paper of the day is the New York Beacon. So check them out. Go to their websites. And if you are in the 5 boroughs, look for it somewhere. You will find it.
For sure. Reverend Green says live instruments, live bands are super necessary. That's why I say Robert Glasper. He does a festival, I think it's next month in Napa. And everybody will be there. He plays for them. Layla Hathaway, Raheem Devon, Music Soul Child, India Irie, Jill Scott, Erica Badu. Everybody
The whole
sings for
crew.
Robert Glasper. And it's a live band. Terrence Martin plays with him. Super dope. Check them out. But it's been a pleasure. And for the latest in Black news and to keep up with everything we've been talking about and so much more from the Black perspective, just head over to blackpressusa.com.
Yeah, everybody will be in next week except me. Oh, Martha's Vineyard. Greer says everybody's going to be in Martha's Vineyard next week. Who's going to Martha's Vineyard? I'm not going. Lauren is watching this morning. She says she's going. So,
Hey, Lauren.
and I know that April Ryan says she'll be there. Oh, goodness grief. Greer is being left out because even her mama is going to Martha's Vineyard. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I love how Black people pack it out. They have a film festival. Michael Blake, who is out of New York, who ran for mayor, he does a big Kairos summit, his Kairos brand, which is bringing entertainers together. He does something, then you have the film festival. And then everybody loves to hopefully see the Obamas. They may pop up. So Martha's Vineyard is the spot to be at. I plan to get there one year, just not this one.
Not this year?
No.
Come on, you're not too busy. Go ahead. Go get on the plane.
No. Not this year.
Listen, we will see y'all tomorrow. Thanks for watching.
The rhythm, the rhyme, all the magic we share, just us two.
Wait a minute. Oh, she did.
You're gonna miss my love. You are gonna miss my love.
I'm done.
Yes, you will, baby. I know you miss my love.